Hi guys, this is the Idaho Picker, and I'm going to show you three articles here today that I found very interesting and tie together quite well. One is the Washington, D.C. Navy Yard shooting linked to attempted arrest of Obama for treason. And it's a very detailed article. I'm going to go into it, read some of it for you here. But I've got two others to show you real quick. So you can probably see how this article here on Fox Nation and has even been on mainstream radio that I've heard on the mainstream syndicated radio, talking about the report of the SWAT team that was told to stand down at the Navy Yard massacre. We're going to tie that in here as well as a report that says that Obama has had a meltdown in Washington, that President Obama reportedly is sedated following an emotional breakdown. Got a lot to cover here with you, but let's get started. So let's go back to our first article here. It says, in politics, nothing happens by accident. Even if it happens, you can bet it was planned that way. That was Franklin D. Roosevelt. It says, U.S. military police were targeted and killed by Obama in the Washington, D.C. Naval Yard shooting. So why? Agents from the U.S. military criminal investigation units had uncovered a plot to detonate a nuclear device in the heart of the nation's capital as part of an Obama government false flag. Officials from NCIS, United States Naval Criminal Investigative Service, and the U.S. Office of the Provost, both with field offices inside the Washington, D.C. Navy Yard, had threatened to arrest Obama for planning to attack Syria without congressional approval following a planned nuclear detonation false flag in Washington, D.C. The office of the provost is on the second floor of building 34, 1 First Avenue, Charleston Way, Navy Yard, and NCIS is located at 716 Escard Street, Southeast Suite 2000 in Washington Naval Yard in D.C. United States NCIS is the primary law enforcement agency of the United States Department of the Navy. It investigates activities concerning crimes against or by the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps personnel, along with national security, counterintelligence, and the counterterrorism cases. A false flag is the crime of treason, levying war against the United States if the United States Navy or United States Marine Corps personnel are involved in planning for and preparing a false flag event in Washington, D.C. or anywhere else in the United States. NCIS and its agents are duty-bound to investigate and take action to counter those terrorist acts against the United States. Prior to the Washington, D.C. Naval Yard shooting, the Joint Chiefs of Staff and Provost Marshals were planning and preparing to arrest Obama for treason, for levying war against the United States with the planned false flag in Washington, D.C. on the anniversary of 9/11, a nuclear detonation. So they're saying that, of course, a major false flag was averted, but unfortunately these people lost their lives for it. And this is quite interesting when you tie that into the fact that the SWAT team was told to stand down, right? Remember this story? SWAT team was in the area, heard about something going down at the Navy Yard. They went over there, and they were getting ready to go in and engage, and called in, asked for authorization, and were told to stand down and leave. Okay. So let's see here. In the United States, of the Office of Provost has the authority to arrest the president if he or she violates the terms of his or her employment and commits an act that is detrimental to the United States. He or she can be held liable, arrested, imprisoned, etc., depending on the depth of the violation by the Provost Marshal. It has been determined that the President of the United States has committed treason in a manner unmistakable to all. The Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff convenes a covert meeting in the case of Washington, D.C. Naval Yard to get a vote of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs. The Provost Marshal General of the Army and or Marines will usually be in attendance. Remember that a military officer takes an oath of office to do one thing and one thing only: to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign or domestic. They must determine above reasonable doubt that the enemy, domestic, is the treasonous president before they can attempt to arrest him or her. Once the Joint Chiefs of Staff have determined beyond a reasonable doubt that the president has committed treason, a convoy of 10 to 12 high-ranking officers, 13 killed at the Navy Yard, depart from the Pentagon, accompanied by a large contingency of military, police, provost marshals, and NCIS agents, and all necessary armament and provisions to enter the grounds of the White House by force, if necessary, and proceed to the location of the president and put him under arrest. Then the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs would advise the Speaker of the House, the President of the Senate, the Attorney General, and the Secretary of State of their actions. Obama's response to the threat of arrest was a coordinated assault against NCIS, who uncovered the false flag plot against the United States, and provost marshals who threatened to arrest Obama at the Washington, D.C. Navy Yard. So this article is very interesting. It goes into depth on a lot of this information related to what I'm telling you here. Even talks about Putin and his role in what's been going on, which I find very interesting. Let's see here. I mean, you're going to want to read the whole thing here. I'm just not going to read it all here for you. My job is, of course, to bring this to you and let you check it out and decide for yourself what you think, right? So we had according to this report, and it's a really good report, there was a false flag planned. And we all were like, where's the false flag? Where's the false flag? And then we seen the D.C. Navy Yard shooting, and we're like, was that it? But then I looked at that shooting, and it didn't make any sense. A lot of it didn't make sense as to what they were saying, and it was like weird. And then you got the SWAT team that was told to stand down, and now I guess we got a president that is on drugs and is standing down, you might say. It says, late this afternoon, White House insiders leaked information stating the president had suffered a mental breakdown and is presently resting under doctor's care. This afternoon, the National Report received 3 calls on our nationwide hot tip line. 2 of the 3 callers are insiders known to the National Report to be reliable, confidential informants. The caller, unknown to this publication, is a low-level employee who could only state that there was some kind of a medical emergency involving the president. The other 2 callers known to us are support personnel within Obama's administration. Both confirmed this week that there has been a political disaster for the president, and this has taken a tremendous toll on him. Yeah, because their plans are getting busted up, and that is good news for everybody in the world. Earlier this week, Russian President Vladimir Putin derailed the president's plan to bomb Syria and bury the U.S. in another war the people want nothing to do with and cannot afford to pay for. Putin negotiated a deal with Syria for control over its chemical weapons, provided a peaceful resolution to a certain U.S. attack. But now there's also reports coming out that Putin has now said, no, just kidding, and is throwing everything into another tailspin. It's all I can say is it's getting interesting. Guys, I'll put links to these articles below for you so you can come and take a look at them. And I'll be back with you again here soon. I've got a video I'm going to try to get done today if I can. It's going to be the most important video that I've ever done in my career. And this video here is pretty freaking amazing, doing the report on this. But the one I've got to tell you next is a whopper. And I'll bring it to you, let you decide what you think for yourself. That's it for now, guys. Continue when you're looking at this and looking at everything that's going on. Try to use logic before authority.